for our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the Made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98, or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY, or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Protecting Your Assets with Steve Shyman. Listen Saturday mornings at 8. Learn more at willsave.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
The following live program is sponsored by Breakthrough Ideas.
AM 560, The Answer. It's time for breaking news, expert insight, and informed commentary on what's happening in Springfield, Chicago, and beyond. Because an informed citizenry is the only way to protect our republic. It's time for The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson.
All right, so June 18th, the Obama Center opens to much fanfare and lots of celebrity appearances. June 19th, Blacks across Chicagoland celebrate the final release of slaves from the Civil War. And then, that night, a mass shooting. 13 shot.
Oh, yeah, this happened in Roseland at the Princeton Park area. Not too dark outside. It was, the sun was just setting. 2 guys pull up in a red SUV, Jeannie, fire off more than 100 rounds at the crowd. And the laundry list of people who got shot. We have a 17-year-old shot in the back. You have a 32-year-old man, a 38-year-old woman, a 47-year-old man. And this neighbor was just, he's still surprised.
All of a sudden, you hear this loud, I can hear the rapid fire gunfire. And I said, oh, no, can't be. And next thing I know, you hear the sirens. It was a shame that it happened on Juneteenth. That's what's supposed to be about, celebration, not what just happened. That was just purely wrong.
Well, then by Sunday, though, you had the New York Post putting out this piece. Trump tears into lefty Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker after bloody weekend in Chicago leaves 5 dead, 22 injured. That was not the final total, but here's what Trump had to say about that.
President Trump says he's ready to make Chicago one of America's safest cities. On True Social today, Trump said he could make the city safe in 1 month and one of the safest in at least a year. His statements come as Chicago PD reports an uptick in shootings across the city by 78%, with over 30 happening over this weekend alone. President Trump pointed to his administration's efforts to crack down on crime in D.C. as an example of what he could accomplish if the Windy City gave him the same chance.
Well, that was an OAN report about that. And, but it got worse, Amy. That was not the final.
No, final count so far, 38 shot, 8 killed. Talked to PD on the way in here today just to see. But those numbers could always change because there's more than a handful that are in critical condition right now. But our doctors, our ER doctors, are so good at saving lives because they've had so much practice. But here's the thing. It wasn't only Juneteenth. It was Father's Day weekend. And here in Chicago, Father's Day weekend has always been a bloody mess. In 2020, dear Lord, I thought I lost my mind. 113 people were shot June of 2020. That was during COVID. That's when we're all supposed to be locked down, remember? And I think that drove people insane, and they went out and they just, they were taking over city streets, having drag races, doing whatever they want because everything was shut down. But then in 2024, 74 people were shot. So they are going to claim victory. I'm telling you, they're going to say, oh, well, this is 38 shot. That's not bad. We had 74 shot and 113 shot before.
Well, I mean, last year in 2025, and this is, of course, according to Hey Jackass that keeps up on all the numbers for us, which I really appreciate. There were 5 killed, 16 wounded, versus what their tally right now is 7 killed, 35 wounded. So there's an uptick from last year. Plus, there's an uptick from last year in overall murders at this point in time. It looks like there's 206, 215 total murders. Last year, there was about 207. So there's an uptick in the murder rate, and we'll find out how this all plays out in the end. I'm sorry. What did anybody tell me what number of murders was acceptable? I hadn't heard that number yet.
We've become numb to this. It's kind of like reporting sports scores right now. I mean, I've been here since 1996, back home here, and it just nobody cares. It's so weird. And then it'll happen to somebody you know, and guess what? Still. Nobody cares. I remember when Mayor Daley used to go to kids' homes after they were shot and killed to meet with the parents, and Emmanuel did that. Now there's not enough time in the day to do that. But Mayor Johnson, he's aware of what happened in Roseland, Jeannie.
Know that my administration is working overtime, not only to hold people accountable, to remove illegal guns off the streets of the city of Chicago.
Well, and of course, Toni Preckwinkle, she's going to get in on the bandwagon. Even though she's facing a $550 million deficit, she has announced an additional $20 million for violence prevention grants. I'm sorry, but exactly what has their summer program produced so far, other than more violence?
Text message from 847, Jeannie and Amy, it is so good that it rained on Sunday to hold down that additional shootings, that hold down that number. And that is so true. It's so sad that weather affects how many people are shot in Chicago. Wake up, you idiots. And then today, you want to talk about idiots? It continues. Right now, they're having a press conference. Are you ready for this?
What?
At City Hall. Local leaders are calling for a designated gun violence prevention department. So that's what we need, another committee. We need more, throw more government money at it. They want the city's deputy mayor of community safety. His name is Emmanuel Andre. He's joining several elected officials, faith leaders, blah, blah, blah. And they want this so-called Department of Gun Violence Prevention created for the city. Now, we'll have more information for you tomorrow, what exactly this is and what exactly they plan to do.
And
but Father Flager's involved and Urban League CEO Karen Freeman Wilson and yada, yada, the same old cast of clowns that have been in charge before.
Yeah. Honestly, you need to find the perpetrators, lock them up, bring back ShotSpotter. There's a whole lot of things that they could positively do to change the direction of violence in this city. And what they're doing with their little, summer work deals is not working.
312-642-5600 is the number. Also, real quick, look at this guy. If you're watching on Breakthrough Ideas YouTube or AM 560's Facebook page, this guy, he was on electronic monitoring and thought it was a good idea to help his buddies rob a FedEx truck on the south side. So even electronic, how about this? No electronic monitoring for people who've committed violent crimes. Just start there and get rid of the Safety Act. Real basic things that we could do to start bring safety. But I would love it if President Trump brought troops and brought normalcy back to Chicago like he appears to have been doing in Washington, D.C.
Well, let's get some ideas from a few callers. Let's go to Mike in Yorkville. Mike, welcome to the program.
Good morning, ladies, on this beautiful day in Illinois, Stan. Democrats, well, the communists, we'll just call them for what they are, love regulation. But for some reason, they forgot this industry and law enforcement that they should probably regulate to actually know how to report crimes, because it seems like they try to forget so many of them, and then they start trying to reclassify people under different ethnicities, which is very strange to me, because if we're supposed to be about law enforcement and correct facts and all the other things, how do we miss the boat so much on this? I'll let you guys answer. Thank you.
Well, I don't know, but you don't know the races of, the races of those who were shot. You don't necessarily know the races of those who did the shooting, because one, very few of these crimes are solved. But I think that we sort of instinctively know where it's coming from. Let's listen to Ron on the south side. Maybe he has an idea.
Hey, well, first of all, 2 questions. Where were the crime intervention organizations? Huh? What were they? They're getting a lot of money.
So anytime
where would
anybody's
they-
having a picnic, they should just a crime intervention superhero should come in, just like those social
and then what
distance
are social
ambassadors we had.
workers? Yeah, what are the social workers, that garbage that Brandon said is going to stop them? Look here, y'all. This is a bunch of BS. And this is just the middle of June. We haven't even hit the 4th of July. And that's when I called you off right and said, all that stuff down there at the Obama Center, the people there, those people are disgusting. They don't care anything about what's going on in this community. But lastly, the people in the community, you vote for the same people, the same policy. You're going to get, and you're going to get it harder. You all have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Ron, for the call.
Yeah, all of those stars that came in, Jeannie, all had their private jets. Oh, but what about the environment? Oh, flew in on their private jets to Midway and to Executive Airport. And
well, everybody needs to hang on for
Wheeling.
segment 4 because I have something really good to talk about when it comes to the environment and presidential libraries. So I want to make that comparison. But you have to hold on, wait, because that's really good.
That's called the greatest tease ever. 219 text message, Jeannie and Amy, gun violence department. That's supposed to be the police department.
Do you think?
Very well said.
No kidding. Another one, I'm betting that you can incarcerate your way out of this problem. The real concern for Brandum is most of the incarceration. Sorry, that cut off.
Oh, that's
will be whatever. Okay, so let's take another call here quick on this. Michael on the south side. Michael, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Jeannie. Good morning, Amy. Thank you both for taking my call. I think that the opening of the Obama Center and the weekend violence shows that there's a serious divide in the black community. You know, on the one hand, all these black reporters, black celebrities, and black politicians, celebrated at the Obama Center. But, the ugly reality, we still have this really serious violence problem in the black community. I think that contrast is really unfortunate.
Yeah, no, I totally don't I don't disagree with you at all. I think
and when it
that's
comes
true.
to the Roseland shooting, of course, Area 2 detectives are investigating. No arrests have been made, but if anybody has information, you're supposed to call them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? I can't help but, notice. I want to know a little bit more about the perpetrators and also the people that were there. I mean, you had 13 people shot. They must have had a fairly large gathering.
Oh, they did.
And, maybe it was just a community block party. Fine.
That's what Michael Bowles said.
Whatever
it was just,
it was.
they were celebrating Juneteenth. Everybody had the day off of work. It was a beautiful day. And then that happened. Normally it's some type of retaliation, Jeannie. I'm sure there might have been a bad hombre in that group and somebody wanted somebody's head.
Yeah, I know the white woman from the suburbs isn't supposed to remark on it, but it was Father's Day, right? So instead of me remarking on it, how about if I read a little bit from Delano Squires? He's a black man, Christian guy, and he writes about the vanishing black family in this op-ed in Daily Signal posted. He also has a new book called The Vanishing Black Family, How Welfare and Feminism Made Marriage Optional and Children Vulnerable. And he goes on to recount about a documentary called The Vanishing Family Crisis in Black America and the narrative Moyers, who noted that, that there's certain facts that you should know about it. In cities all over America, the traditional family no longer exists. It has vanished and something new has taken its place. Single women and children are rearing alone. They're rearing alone are the fastest growing part of the black population. 69% of black children today are born to unwed parents. Nearly 45% live with a single mother. This means the traditional family, husband and wife raising their biological children, has given way to a culture where marriage is obsolete and fathers are optional in far too many neighborhoods. Children raised in homes with their married biological parents do better on a host of outcomes, social, economical, educational. And a world in which every black child was raised in a loving household with a married man and mom and dad would do far more to advance racial equality than a new government program or social justice campaign. Marriage matters. So what are you going to do? Are we going to accept this current state of affairs, or are we going to rebuild the family? He asks in this very thoughtful piece written in Daily Signal, The Vanishing Black Family. I'm sorry, I can't help but note it was Father's Day. And what is the situation there? Alex Berenson, white guy, he wrote the same thing about the importance of fathers.
They should be celebrated more. And it's so funny because I just feel there's such a difference between Mother's Day and Father's Day. Yeah. Mother's Day, everyone's involved. Father's Day, pretty silent. So happy Father's Day to all of you out there who are doing the right thing. All right, coming up on The Real Story, Sharia developments, a proposal in a small town in Illinois. You're only going to hear this story here first on The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson.
You're listening to The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks has been protecting Chicagoland homes and businesses for 4 decades, 40 years. And they actually listen. Their technician comes out to the house. He takes a look at what you need to make your house a smart home with a security system you can monitor from anywhere. It's built specifically for me and my family. Motion sensors, smart locks, cameras, monitoring, all customized. I don't trust anybody in Illinois to protect my family. I do it, and I did it by calling Goldilocks. I trust Goldilocks to keep my house, my property, and my family safe. Tell them Sean Thompson sent you, and Goldilocks will include 3 months free monitoring with any new installation. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Or visit them online at GoldilocksInc.com.
Hey, I'm Kirk Cameron. Is health insurance eating up your budget for 2026? If you're looking for ways to better steward your finances, consider this: Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a health insurance alternative at half the cost. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. While insurance companies tell you when to join, what to pay, and where to go, CHM is different. As a ministry, CHM allows you to share the burden of medical bills with other Christians. You can enroll, switch programs, or leave at any time. Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a world of difference. CHM has 4 flexible programs. You can pick any certified doctor, surgeon, or hospital that you want for eligible care. So make the switch. Take your paycheck back from health insurance this year. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
AM 560. The Answer.
All right, welcome back to The Real Story. And here's a story that you are, as Amy had indicated, probably only going to hear here on the airwaves at least. I mean, I know it's been circulated on social media, but apparently there is a Muslim community that wants to build a Sharia-compliant compound out in little tiny Sheridan, Illinois.
Which is near? Where's Sheridan near?
It's in LaSalle County. Yeah, and so... there's a lot of concerned citizens. Many of them are speaking up. And we're going to bring in Michelle Peterson right now. She's the one who knows a lot about it. We'll also bring in Jim Reed. He's a member of the LaSalle County Board. We'll bring him in a few minutes. But Michelle, welcome to the program. Can you just tell us, our guests, what is happening there right now?
Hi. Yes, thank you. And thanks for having me. We are actually concerned because, as you said, there is a Muslim group that wants to buy what used to be known as a Holiday Inn Resort, is now the Fox River Resort in Sheridan, Illinois. It's a very small community. And from our understanding, they want to actually change this from what used to be a timeshare to a more of a residential facility. It's 165 acres, and there are several units there going from studio up to a 2 to 3 bedroom townhomes. They could house anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 people in this area. The problem with this is the infrastructure in Sheridan would be completely compromised. There's one road going completely around the facility. So it starts, the road starts on Route 71, circles around the facility, then comes back out on Route 71 on the other side. So if there was ever an emergency in that area, there's houses along there, that you have the whole compound then, and they would have a difficult time getting people out of there in an emergency situation. Also, one of the concerns is that if they were to make this kind of a religious compound, they could be tax-free, or at least the mosque would be tax-free that they want to put in this area. And that area relies a lot heavily on the tax money from that land to support their infrastructure, their police, their fire. But of greater concern is some of the things that you see going on over in Europe right now. And, there's a new report, a new bombshell report that just came out, Restore Britain, led by a member of parliament over there, Rupert Lowe. He alleges that at least 250,000 British girls have been subject to rape, trafficking, torture, and sexual exploitation by organized migrant rape gangs over the last several decades. And one of the report's most damning conclusions in this report states that the perpetrators came from Pakistani Muslim backgrounds, and that's what this group is. It's from VAIRT, which is VAIRT, and there is the guy that actually is running this. His name is Jamil Ahmad Sakira, I believe is how you say that. But they've been promoting this as wanting to put a mosque on this property, a Muslim school, halal restaurants, water park, golf course is already there. But they have kind of backpedaled now that some of us have been speaking out, and they're pretty much saying that that is not true, that's not what they want, and that it's not going to be run by Sharia law. But if you go onto their website, it states right on there, Sharia compliant investments through VAIRT, V-A-I-R-T. And he also runs a V-Migrant, which is a visa pipeline funneling foreigners into the U.S. He brags about this through his Pennsylvania Islamic Retreat Marifah. So anyway, this whole thing is just a pipeline trying to bring people in here. He's marketing this to folks up in Dearborn, Michigan. We've seen what's happened in Dearborn, Michigan, in the Twin Cities, in Texas, and all over Europe. So this is a huge concern for us. We're concerned because this is more of an ideology, right? It's a religion, but it's also an ideology. And we really have to really fall back on our Constitution, and that Sharia law isn't compliant with our Constitution if that's what we're planning on bringing in here. And we're based on Christianity as far as our founding documents and biblical principles, and we need to stand on that.
Wow. Well, I mean, I'm looking at the flyer right now. It's a safe, gated community, Muslim family living inside a luxury resort. I mean, This is what's the next step here? What's going to happen? Because it says, starting price is $135K. Live in a friendly. This line is crazy. A first of its kind luxury resort style Muslim community near Chicago. So it's sort of, if you look at the map, it's outside of Yorkville. It's in between Ottawa and Yorkville.
Right. So I would say it's somewhere between probably 70 miles southwest of Chicago, right, in that area. But again, it'll destroy this entire infrastructure. So what we're trying to do is figure out now. So apparently they got this through an auction. It has not been deeded yet. So I think they have to go through some rezoning. But we have a group of us that are looking at EPA concerns of waste going into the Fox River. We're looking at the tax issues. We're looking at the zoning. Can they actually zone this for residential? The issues with that, though, is according to their doctrine, I mean, they can lie to you, in the name of Allah. So we don't know even if they were to not rezone this and say that they're going to use this still for commercial and make it, a timeshare still and not even go that route, they could still house people in there. We would never have any idea because it's going to be a locked, gated community. Once they're in there, we're going to have a very difficult time getting our sheriff or our police in there to actually see what's going on. And, they're okay with marrying children, right? And that goes against everything in this country. They're okay with,
domestic violence, you name it.
The domestic violence and putting their thumb down on the women. We would not have any idea what's going on in there. That goes against our entire Constitution, our entire law. So we really need to make sure that we're standing really on the foundation of, our Declaration of Independence speaks about God, God foretime, nature's God, a creator, supreme judge, divine providence. We have to stand on that and really push back on this in the name of God and Jesus and push back on all of this.
Michelle, Jeannie here. We've got like 30 seconds left. I'm sorry, we need more time on this segment. We'll definitely have you back. I want to have Jim Reed back. I want to play his his clip probably after the first of this hour to talk about this more. But I appreciate your guys' attention to this and the fact that you are fighting back. Texas is under that same fight. You know, it's going back and forth in the courts as to what they can do. But Abbott is adamant that there's no way you're going to have a Muslim, gated community in his state, and we need to do the same thing here. All right, we'll be right back. We've got Sue Rezin coming up about this topic and more.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft.
I'm a little concerned about the proposal that New York Governor Kathy Hochul, the legislation she signed, targeting speeders statewide. If you get 16 or more violations within a year period, you're required to install a, quote, intelligent speed limiter technology to restrict the car's maximum speed to the posted speed limit. 16 is a lot. Did I get 3 in a week? Maybe 2 in a day and 3 in a week. But anyway, that was a long time ago.
Chicago's Morning Answer. Weekday mornings starting at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. No nukes for Iran. That coming from the peace talks between the U.S. and Iran in Switzerland.
The final deal is the house. We set the foundation. We haven't built the house, but we've laid a successful foundation to get to a good place for the American people.
Vice President J.D. Vance earlier in Lucerne.
U.S. diplomat involved in the talks told Fox News that some of the discussion was focused on clarifying the confusing messaging on the Strait of Hormuz to ensure it will remain open, adding that robust discussions on all elements of the nuclear deal are ongoing.
Fox's Trey Yanks in Tel Aviv. Music mogul Clive Davis, who launched the monumental careers of Whitney Houston, Alicia Keys, Bruce Springsteen, and many others, dying at the age of 94. That from his family. The U.S. military blows up another suspected drug boat, this time off the coast of South America. 2 people on board were killed. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon, expect mostly sunny skies and pleasant conditions with a high of 74. Tonight will bring a crystal clear sky with a low of 56. Tomorrow, anticipate partly sunny skies and pleasant weather once again with a high of 74. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon, CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
The IRS just lost thousands of experienced agents. Unfortunately, your tax debt didn't disappear with them. Right now, the IRS is understaffed and overwhelmed. Now is the time to put your IRS issues behind you. Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS? Has the IRS garnished your wages yet? Have they grabbed your bank account yet? They will if you ignore them long enough. This is Patrick Noon with PJN Tax Solutions Group. We are a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800-FIRM 10 states away. We're right here. Listen, this is your window of opportunity. Our tax resolution team knows exactly how to leverage the chaos. But you need to act before the IRS regroups. Call us now. The IRS is in disarray. We are not. 630-415-5296. That number again, 630-415-5296. Or just Google, I want the IRS off my ASS.
Virago is fending off viruses and making America healthy again.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Huber. I'm one of the co-founders of Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. Here are what some Virago users have to say.
I started using Virago a little more than a year ago. I have 3 school-aged kids, and they are constantly bringing home whatever bug is going around school, whether it's a cold, a sore throat, whatever it is. Everyone in the house was getting sick. I started taking Virago to help boost my immune system, and it worked. I haven't been sick since starting Virago. I use just a half a dose daily unless I feel like I'm getting something. Then I'll take a full dose for a day or 2, and I'm fine. I also feel great and more on top of my game, like my memory is sharper. I'm not forgetting things. I absolutely recommend Virago.
Boost your immune system with Virago. Order your bottle today. Visit myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com.
And use promo code IMMUNE to get 30% off.
That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
It is that time of year again to save babies by providing ultrasounds with our friends at Preborn. You know how this goes. We've done it every single year at this time. All you have to do is pick up the phone and say, I want to provide a free ultrasound to a girl. Give her the chance to see the truth of what's happening in her body Every $28 helps do that. Saving one baby, $280 can do that. Help save 10 babies. More does more. The phone number is 833-850-2229. 833-850-BABY. Join us saving babies with preborn again this year. We're going to save hundreds of babies, one at a time, 2 or 5 or 10 at a time. That phone number again is 833-850-BABY. That's 833-850-2229. Or go online to 560theanswer.com/baby.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering 24/7 security solutions for homes and businesses. Call them today at 708-889-5600.
AM 560, The Answer.
Got a lot of text messages. This one, Jeannie, you ladies know that in Bridgeview on 87th and Harlem, it's 100% Arab. They actually have signs that read Little Palestine, and they're taking over a number of churches there.
They formally did that. They formally put up as a city, welcome to Little Palestine. They formally did that multiple places. This is insanity. Let's see what Jim in Willowbrook has to say. Jim, welcome to the program.
Hey, guys, I'm not in Willowbrook. I'm actually out in Salmonaught. You'll probably be, I think I heard you say you were going to play a comment from me.
Oh yeah, Jim, I was going to, but then I saw that it said you were from Willowbrook, and I thought, oh, I got the caller mixed up. But go ahead, give us your because you're the county board member that spoke up about this, Jim Reed.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah, I did speak up about it, and my take on this comes from almost 13 years in the Marine Corps. I spent 3 years overseas. I spent all 3 of those years in Muslim-dominated countries, Saudi Arabia and Oman. And I've seen what Sharia law does. In my mind, just like the Constitution says, we have a freedom of religion in the United States. Anybody can come here that wants to adapt to our country and follow our laws. But if you want to invoke a law that is against the Constitution of the United States, then I have a problem with that. And as a Marine and a former police officer, that, as I said at the meeting, I will not allow that to happen in my county. And if you look, just a really quick Google search, there's over 200 mosques in the state of Illinois already. And I believe over 120 of those mosques are in Cook County. Do we really have that much need for 120 mosques in one county? It just, the numbers just don't make sense.
Well, as a former police officer,
when you look at Dearborn, or you look at Epic City down in Plano, Texas, or the area that they have down in Dallas-Fort Worth, I don't care what they say, they're not trying to assimilate, put it that way.
well, part of the religion says conform or die, but as a former police officer, if they are in a gated community, can you get into that gated community if there's any calls for help or just to investigate to make sure everything's okay?
Probably not without a warrant.
That's right.
One of the things I brought up during the meeting is what's going to happen if something like that happens and our officers have to show up. The way that some of these places are set up, there's armed security inside those gates.
Oh, yeah.
So if we need to get inside there, if our officers need to get inside there, what's going to happen? And I fear for the safety of our officers. And, there's another place down here in Sheridan that was a campground, and they advertise it as a Muslim boot camp. And according to people in Sheridan and Norway, they've heard gunfire down there on multiple occasions. And unfortunately, again, it's gated, and we really can't get in to see what's really going on.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a little bit different. By the way, you cannot, in my opinion, you can't discriminate for housing in terms of like religious, race, or all sorts of other things. This would be a complete violation of the Human Rights Act of Illinois to in any way say, if you're not Muslim, I'm sorry, you can't buy a $135,000 condo in this community. That is absolutely against the Illinois Human Rights Act. So they are probably going to come up against a lot of constitutional challenges, especially in Illinois, that says, oh, no, you got to accept everybody. And, oh, by the way, you can't do any background check on them either.
What about
find
Section 8
out.
housing?
So
we have Section 8 housing? I mean,
I don't know. Hey, Jim, I really appreciate it. We're going to continue to talk with you guys about how this develops in the future. We got to move on, though. We've got Sue Rezin on the line. We want to take that call because she's also concerned about it as a state senator. Thanks a lot for calling in, Sue. I appreciate it. Okay, Sue Rezin, welcome to the program. You are the state senator for the 38th district, and we have a lot to discuss with you today. As you heard, we were just discussing the entire potential for some sort of gated Muslim locked up Sharia compliant development in Sheridan, Illinois. I know that you're probably opposed to that.
Well, I mean, residents have legitimate questions about a Sharia compliant community that would significantly change the character of the area. So we have questions. What does that mean? What are their intentions? I have seen the marketing material that raises more questions than it does answer. We're in the process of gathering information. I do believe that questions that we have are legitimate as well, but currently the zoning for this particular community, which is the old Holiday Inn Resort. It consists of 400 acres, and it's timeshares and also hotels. So in the marketing materials, they talk about permanent housing, permanent living. I mean, when I see the marketing materials, it really is much different than the current zoning and is different with the intent of the resort. So we have questions. The local people have formed committees. They've met. We are gathering information. So we'll continue to gather information and ask questions. But I do think that we have legitimate questions based off of the marketing materials that have been forwarded to us, and some of the intentions within the marketing materials are concerning.
Okay, so thanks a lot. We're also going to stay updated with you as this development goes forward or gets halted. We'll find out. But what I really wanted to talk to you about was this Children's Online Safety Act that passed House Bill 5511. It deals with social media safety, and I think it's not gotten the attention that it deserves in the wake of all the other taxes on social media that have gone forward and have gotten a lot of attention in the last week, especially by the digital asset tax as well. But this is important because tomorrow in Washington, D.C., they're going to have a Social Media Victims Remembrance Day. This is a big deal because the social media victims do exist, and it's painful. And you have been working on this issue for quite a long time. Can you tell us about this Children's Online Safety Act and how parents now will be able to get more involved in what their children see online?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for covering this. The social media victims do exist, and their stories are heart-wrenching. They have testified before the committee when I started on this journey 5 years ago. This is very real. Over the past 5 years, I have worked with parents and educators and mental health professionals, technology experts, and young people to better understand how social media and other online platforms are affecting our children, and they are affecting our children. After years of advocating for stronger protections for children online, House Bill 5511, which is also known as the Children's Online Safety Act, establishes additional safeguards for minors on social media platforms, including enhanced privacy protections, parental controls, and restrictions on certain interactions between minors and adults. So there's an age assurance component in there, which essentially says you are the age that you say you are. As we all know on social media, there's a tremendous amount of grooming by people pretending to be a minor when in fact they are an adult and they're conversing with minors and they are grooming minors. That's just one of the many stories, I'm sure that they will hear at the federal level tomorrow, we have seen an increase in mental health and anxiety in our minors. And we've had many people testify before committee in Springfield asking for more money at the school so they can hire more counselors, which I agree with that. But we have to ask ourselves, what is going on? And as you've mentioned, and thank you for asking me because you've been very good about keeping on top of my issue, what is going on and how can we solve it? This bill is one of the first to pass in the state of Illinois. Many states are trying to pass a version of this bill to protect minors from grooming, from harassment, from seeing content, having algorithms written to keep the minors on the platform, creating addiction problem, creating increase in anxiety, increase in mental health problem. So how can we solve this? Many people have said that this is a federal issue, which, you know what, it may be a federal issue, but unfortunately at the federal level, we have not seen legislation that is safely dealing with this issue. As a result, you're seeing many states pass bills, such as House Bill 5511, that protect children online and their safety. This will be challenged. We know that. In every state, the tech companies have challenged and sued the legislation, which is fine. Let it go through the system. Ultimately, though, we will, if this does not pass constitutional standards, which we think that it will, we do believe the judges will give us a pathway that makes sense so we could come back and make sure that the bill does fit all of the parameters of the Constitution and be able to pass, our First Amendment rights, which of course we want to protect. But there's a way to handle this. And I feel that by passing this legislation, it's a bipartisan bill. Worked with my colleagues across the aisle.
Well, it passed unanimously. There was nobody who opposed this bill. It passed unanimously. It was an amazing success.
Yeah, after 5 years, though. I mean,
I know.
It is amazing how strong the tech companies are.
Yeah, so we're speaking to State Senator Sue Rezin. Eventually, do you want us to go the way of Australia? I mean, that country became the first country to legally ban children under 16 from Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
I personally, it's definitely a pathway that I would look at because it creates a safe environment for minors. So whether it's 16 and under or 13 and under, but more importantly, it takes the burden off of parents to decide what their children cannot see or what their children are doing in their bedrooms unbeknownst to parents. I've heard that, from the tech companies over the last 5 years that the parents should be policing the children and what they see. That's easier said than done. When your child is up in their bedroom, you think, and you will hear in these stories tomorrow, many people will testify, I thought I was protecting my child. He or she was home. They were in their bedrooms. We feel that they were safe. Unbeknownst to me, they were on a platform that they had no business being on, and something horrific happened. You will hear one story after another tomorrow. That's why it's easier to ban it across the country at a certain age and under. It just makes a safer environment for the minors and takes the burden off of parents trying to understand social media and trying to police their children on social media.
So right away with the law just going into effect, because Pritzker's going to sign this. Has he already signed it? He's going to. He's already told it. He of course touted out.
But I'm sure that he will.
Oh, for sure he will, because he touted it in his budget address like it was his idea, when all along you've been the one actually working on this for 5 years, and then your Democrats finally got on board. But, you've been the leader on this, no doubt about it. But so he signs this. What immediately can parents do to help protect their minor?
Well, once the bill is signed, essentially the platforms will be required to make the changes, because that's where it happens. The platforms have engineers that are writing code, they're writing algorithms. They are they are determining what this looks like. Now that we have legislation, they will be forced to live within the legislation. Before, they told us, well, we are going to do this and we will self-regulate. But what happens is, especially with the tech companies, they will self-regulate because something horrific has happened, and then they will quietly pull it back, unbeknownst to us, unbeknownst to the parent. We in general thought that the protections were still in place when they weren't in place. So that's why it's important to have a statewide standard. I'd love to have a federal standard, but until we have it, let's have a statewide standard that we know that the tech companies have to live within, and if not, they will be fined by the Attorney General for their inability to comply with the legislation.
Okay, so here's the deal. If anybody is on Facebook, if anybody wants to run ads on Facebook, if anybody's interacted with Facebook in the last 5 years, they know that Facebook knows more about you than you may even know about yourself. I mean, let's be honest with you, right?
100%.
Oh, you want to run ads? Send us a copy of your driver's license. Send us your social security number. Send us your banking account number. They know so much about you. This is something they can easily do. And then on the flip side, I mean, my Facebook, I would get 1,000 shares on post during COVID and stuff. It went down to like 10. They totally censored, and they admitted to censoring. So the idea that they can't actually do this is completely false. They don't want to do it.
They don't want to do it. And the reason is why, and just so you know, when I started on this journey 5 years ago, because we monitor the analytics from my social media platforms, my team does. And just like you, my analytics took a nosedive down. I was shadow banned. Hard to prove it, but if you compare your analytics before and after, it's pretty evident. What was interesting too, I also was a component on a chief co-sponsor on creating a framework to monitor the frontier model, which is AI. But after that happened on TikTok, I was literally banned for 3 months. And if you look at my social media, I just put information out. So they do have the ability to decide. They have so much information on us, but more importantly, and this is where parents need to pay attention, the tech platforms are trying to addict your children by the age of 13, because studies show if you created that addiction by 13, they will be consistently on your platform. Why is that important? Because they want to collect data and they want to sell data. This is purely about money from the tech companies. End of story. They have had the ability. They know essentially by looking at what you're buying, who you're speaking with, all of these things that you're doing online, they can tell what your age is, even though they've told us for all of these years. It's very difficult to tell how old you are. They know how old you are by collecting the data. So, it's been frustrating for me. I've been to many conferences where they're sitting on panels and people are asking the same questions that you are. And their strategy is to say, well, parents, you need to watch your children more. You need to watch what they're looking at. And, to a certain degree, parents should make sure that they have safeguards in place. But this is specifically, the parents are working against tech companies with really smart people that are working against you and have, these platforms that they can quietly addict your child to, unbeknownst to you, when they're up in their bedrooms, or allow them to be bullied or groomed or all of these other nefarious activities that happen on the tech platforms.
That's Sue Rezin, state senator for the 38th State Senate District. We appreciate her coming on about this social media social media online protection act in Illinois. She was obviously very important in its formation, and we appreciate your information. And I had a lot of other questions to talk to you about, so we're going to have you back, because I want to talk about budget, bears, energy, and all sorts of other items that you are an expert on as well. Sue Rezin, thanks so much for joining us on The Real Story.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Coming up, your phone calls and comments, 312-642-5600.
Don't believe the official narrative? You've got the real story on AM 560. The Answer.
The mainstream media isn't just biased. They're hiding stories from you, deliberately. Restoration News is changing that. With elite researchers and fearless writers, Restoration News is the conservative media force fighting back in the information war for America's future. Download the Restoration News mobile app today or visit restoration-news.com. That's restoration-news.com. Real stories, real truth. It's time you knew what they don't want you to know.
On Salem News Channel, principled voices are shaping today's conversation. Scott Jennings brings clarity to the toughest debates. Josh Hammer's blistering commentary puts politics and culture on trial. And Alex Marlowe's insight connects us to what matters most. Watch anytime on Samsung TV Plus, Pluto TV, or find us on your screen at snc.tv. 3 new shows, 1 powerful lineup. Salem News Channel, across America.
So Ryan and I came to the decision to get life insurance when I was pregnant with our first son. He really wanted us to be taken care of if something happened to him. He provided for our family in life and also after his death. I think that would make him proud. Ethos makes it fast and easy to get life insurance. Apply in minutes and get same-day coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878. AM 560, The Answer.
All right, let's get straight to those phone calls. Adam in Lake Bluff, you're on The Real Story. Good morning, Adam.
Hey, hi, good morning. I just wanted to say, Ellen, thank you, ladies, for having me on. But I'd just like to say we got pathetic attorneys at the DOJ and at state level. Why don't they pursue this Sharia thing like they pursued the Mormons? Mormons can't have multiple wives. They can't have this. They can't have that. Why don't they just do that? Oh, the only real difference is maybe race and some philosophy.
Adam, thanks a lot for the call. Listen, I mean, first of all, in Illinois, it's not fully formed yet. And certainly if they found out that they were doing Sharia type infringement on personal rights, if that was actually visibly seen in the form of maybe child abuse, spousal abuse, whatever, if that was actually seen, then I think the authorities would do something. I just, it's easy to hide some of that some of the time, even when it's domestic violence among just regular, Americans
and citizens.
Right, exactly. But I mean, this does raise a very important point. It's like, how can you shut down a private club? Well, you can't really discriminate based off of race or religion, or like I said, in the Human Rights Act, LGBTQ. You can't discriminate against any of that. You can't discriminate against that in housing. So that would be a way, if you did find out that they are saying you can't come in here, but you can because you're Muslim, and you're signing an agreement to not just be Muslim, but compliant with Sharia law. I mean, that's where there's going to be it's going to have to come to a head. And you cannot do that in America, and we do need more assimilation. And this is going to be a hot topic and one that we're going to continue to cover. I thank you so much, Adam, for your phone calls, and thank you to the other callers. We're not able to get to you today.
Yes, and thank you so much for listening, making us part of your morning. Have a wonderful afternoon. God bless, and God bless America.
Town Hall News, where conservative voices cut through the noise from breaking headlines to fearless opinion. We report what matters without apology. Written